Hi y'all, welcome to my channel, Bookmarks and Bradley. I'm Tiffany, and in today's video I wanted to let you all in on a challenge that I started for myself about 2 months ago. I have a lot of books that are sequels in duologies, trilogies, multi-book series, and I want to try to get through them and finish some of these series. So I have new series to read, new standalones to read, and I don't have these, like all of these books hanging over my head. So the last few months I have been purposely picking up books that are sequels in series that I have already started, because I do want to try to get through them. So in today's video I just want to let you know, give a little list of a few of those that I have read. But first, I want to live up to my name, Bookmarks and Bradley. So I thought with every video that I post, I'd just share, one cool, nifty, cute, funny bookmark that I have in my collection. I thought it'd be fun and neat. And below, you all can tell me about some of the bookmarks that you all have and where you buy your bookmarks. So today's, I just wanted to start with what is the epitome of my reading life and kind of my life in general. This bookmark, very colorful and funky with the rainbow. It says, "Shh, I'm trying to read." I really like this because it's always a conversation starter. People see it, especially when they look at it and, it kind of says something else. Looks like it says something else. You really have to take it all in. But it's always funny, and it's always like a kind of a head turner again. They have to kind of glance at it twice, and it always starts a conversation. So I really like this bookmark. I use this one a lot. It is taped up around the side. You can tell where it's like splitting on the ends and everything, so I had to tape it up. But I love this thing. Like I said, I use this one actually a lot. But anyways, that aside, let's get into some of the books that I have read that are a part of series that I'm trying to finish. One that I want to talk about is The Novice by Trudy Canavan. This is the second book in the Black Magician trilogy. I have discussed this on my channel before. The first book, called The Magician's Guild, follows a young girl, Sonia, who lives in this world where the Magician's Guild, they're magicians with different powers that manifest, are kind of the ruling class in this society, and she is a dwell, or lives in essentially the slums. She finds out she's a magician, and craziness ensues from there. I really enjoyed the first book, again, The Magician's Guild, and this one was just a nice continuation. This one is actually like a school setting, so really love that. It gave me Harry Potter vibes. Really enjoyed this. I believe I gave this a 5 out of 5. I'm going to pick up the next one, The High Lord, which is the third and final book in the trilogy. I'm going to pick that up probably next month, so definitely looking forward to that. The next book that I finished, a part of a series, is actually the second book in a duology. That is The Villains duology by V.E. Schwab, and the second book is Vengeful, the first one being Vicious. This one's been talked about a lot on YouTube, so I'm not going to go too much into it. Everybody knows, kind of with this one about two friends from college kind of give themselves powers. 10 years later we see them as villains, and we sort of villains and arch nemesis who are fighting one another, trying to kill one another. So really interesting premise, really interesting book. This second one was really good. All of the characters were so interesting. I really enjoyed this. I believe I gave this one a 5 out of 5 too, so I like this one. There's really nowhere to go from this. I believe this was just a duology, so I finished it. It's complete. Feels good. The next two that I want to talk about, I don't have physical copies of because I've already unhauled them, if that gives you a little bit of sense of where that's going. The first book, or the first series that I attempted to, start working my way through was the Expanse series, I believe it's called, by James S.A. Corey. I read the first book, which was Leviathan Wakes. I enjoyed it okay. I thought the premise was interesting. Some of the political aspects were cool, but overall I really didn't enjoy the characters. I didn't like where the story went. I tried to get into the second book and I just couldn't, so I made the decision to move on. I'm trying to, rapidly get through, not rapidly, but just sort of, keep a nice steady flow and pace. And I don't want to get bogged down by a book that's going to put me in a reading slump, or a series that's going to put me in a reading slump. So I set those aside. And then the second series that I unhauled, that I finished actually, was the Wayward Pines trilogy by Blake Crouch. I read all three of the books. I had read the first one last year, and I read the last two, the second one being Wayward and the third one being The Last Town. The first one was called Pines. So I read the second one last month, and I read the third one earlier this month. I enjoyed it okay. It's not something I'm going to reread. I don't need to keep them. It's actually a television show I might try, but I read them, I finished them, they were nice. I unhauled them. I believe overall the series I'd give probably a 3 out of 5. The first book I really enjoyed, I gave a 5. The last two were hovering in the 3 range, so I really just didn't like where the story went in that one either. So that's why, another reason I unhauled them, because I knew I'm not going to reread them. So the last book that I have to talk about is technically a cheat, because I have like 50 pages left in it, but I'm going to finish it actually probably today. Or tomorrow, and that is the second book in the Strange the Dreamer duology, the second book being called Muse of Nightmares. This is by Laini Taylor. The first one was called Strange the Dreamer. I have it on my bookshelf somewhere. Oh, right here. I don't know if you can see it. Right here, that was the first one. So this is the second one in the duology. I plan on finishing, like I said, either today or tomorrow. I only have like 50 pages left. The first one, I really enjoyed the first half. The second half kind of got insta-lovey to me, and I wasn't feeling it. This one I feel like is so much better so far. We still got to see how it wraps up, but I'm really enjoying this one. I flew through this one. I've only been reading it like 2 or 3 days, and this is a 500-page book. So I really enjoyed this one. It was fast-paced. All of the characters were interesting. The story is interesting, and I'm really enjoying where it's going so far. So I'm really anxious to see how it's going to wrap up. So that's all the books. Those are the series that I've kind of made some headway into, and that I've a few I finished, and other ones I decided that are not going to get finished by me. So now I did talk about one book that I do want to continue on, The High Lord, to go in the Black Magicians trilogy, the third and final one I do want to read. I have 2 other books that I do want to try to finish this month, get to, at least not this month, be well into them going into June, right? That's the next month up. The first book is, of course, Brandon Sanderson. It's the second book in the Mistborn trilogy, and that is The Well of Ascension. This one is kind of actually reminds me of the Black Magicians trilogy, because we have sort of this society where there's a ruling class of people who have powers, and they're sort of ruling over the people in the slums. And we follow one young girl, Vin, who is a Mistborn, who has the ability who has many different powers. Their powers work in a way that they consume different types of metals, and they give them different abilities. And if you do have this power, you usually only can consume one and use that one power. But being a Mistborn, you can control all the metals. So I really enjoyed the first one. I'm anxious to see where the second one is going to go. So that's why this is something I highly anticipate reading here in the near future. And then the second one is also the second book in a duology, and that is Wild Card by Marie Lu. I read the first book, Warcross, which is right here, and I really enjoyed it. It's sort of a futuristic sci-fi, kind of reminds me of a Ready Player One, where it's a virtual reality, and we follow a hacker, young hacker who is sort of contracted by the creator of this game that she hacked into going undercover as kind of a spy, because he believes that there is someone who's truly trying to do harm in this gaming, in this virtual reality. So I really enjoyed the first one. It had a lot of the YA tropes, but it was written well enough for me to kind of get over it, I guess. So I'm interested to see where the second one's going to go, Wild Card. Really looking forward to it. So anyways, I think that wraps up my video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know some series that you've been trying to push your way through here recently, and give me any suggestions for when I knock these out, what to go to next. You all kind of have seen my style, my taste. I'm a sci-fi fantasy type of girl, but I'll take any recommendations. Anyways, let me know again what series that you're trying to plow your way through and finish, and also down below let me know what cool bookmarks that you have in your collection. Thank you. You all have a good day.